Welcome, dear listener, to tonight's gentle history sleep story. This is what it was really like to be a Civil War soldier. Over the next 2 hours, we will drift together through time, back more than a century and a half, into a world both familiar and distant. This story is meant to soothe you, to ease your body into rest, and to carry your mind into dreams through the quiet rhythms of history. This is not a tale of battles shouted across fields or generals commanding armies from horseback. No, tonight the story is slower, quieter, more human. It is the soft sound of boots on dirt roads, the whisper of a pen scratching against paper as a letter home is written by lantern light, the creak of a campfire log as it splits with a faint crackle. It is the life of ordinary soldiers, men far from home, who endured long days and longer nights in the middle of the American Civil War. Before we begin this journey, let us first prepare the mind and body for rest. Take in a deep, unhurried breath, hold it for a moment, and then gently let it go. Allow your shoulders to soften, your chest to loosen, and your jaw to relax. Another breath now, slowly filling your lungs. And then, just as slowly, letting the air drift away. With each breath, feel your body sinking deeper into comfort. The weight of the day begins to fall from you, leaving only stillness. Imagine now that you are lying under a vast open sky. The stars above are clear and bright, unpolluted by city lights. A breeze brushes softly across your skin, carrying with it the faint smell of smoke and pine. Somewhere in the distance, men murmur in low voices, their words carried faintly on the night air. It is not the noise of battle, but the quiet at the edges of it, the gentle hush of a Civil War encampment as night deepens. This is where your journey begins. You are not a general with maps spread across a table. You are not even in the chaos of the battlefield. You are among the soldiers, living their days and nights as they did, in moments of weariness, waiting, and silence. You will feel the weight of a wool uniform, scratchy against the skin. You will sense the hunger of rations stretched thin, and the relief of a warm fire after a long march. And you will see the small sparks of comfort, a comrade's quiet laughter, a letter folded neatly in a pocket, a stolen moment of peace beneath the stars. The American Civil War was one of the most defining events in this nation's history. Yet for those who lived it, life was often measured not in battles or victories, but in the slow passage of days, marches that seemed endless, meals that were meager, and nights that offered both weariness and a strange kind of beauty. It is this rhythm of soldiering that we will explore tonight, with words chosen to bring calmness to your mind and heaviness to your eyelids. As you listen, allow each image to arrive like a soft wave upon the shore. No rush, no urgency, just the slow unfolding of history drifting into your dreams. If at any moment your thoughts begin to wander, or if sleep begins to tug at you, let it. You need not hold on to every detail. The story will keep moving, gently, like a current carrying you downstream. Picture, if you will, the soundscape of a Civil War camp at night, the faint crackle of a fire, the shifting of canvas tents in the breeze, the soft cough of a weary man settling into his blanket roll. A fiddle playing faintly in the distance, its notes rising into the night air before fading away. Around you, the earth smells of dust and grass, mingled with smoke and the iron tang of worn rifles stacked neatly together. Above, the stars gleam, ancient and watchful. Take another deep breath now. Inhale and release. Your body is safe. You are warm. You are supported. The bed beneath you carries all of your weight, allowing your muscles to soften and your mind to rest. Let your eyelids grow heavier, your breathing slower. The more you relax, the more vividly you will be able to imagine the world we are about to enter. In this story, you will not simply hear about the Civil War, you will walk within it. You will step into the shoes of a soldier, feel the weight of his pack upon your shoulders, and look out through his eyes at a world both harsh and tender. You will march with him on dirt roads, sit beside him at campfires, and share in his quiet moments of reflection. Together, we will see what it was really like to be a Civil War soldier. This story is both history and dream. It is fact wrapped in softness, memory carried in a whisper. For the next 2 hours, allow yourself to surrender to its rhythm. There will be no abrupt changes, no sharp edges, only the steady unfolding of another time, guiding you deeper into rest. The journey begins now. You are ready. The year is 1863. America is in the midst of its greatest conflict, a civil war that stretches from the rolling farmlands of Pennsylvania to the wide, humid fields of Georgia. But tonight, we will not look at generals or maps. Instead, we will walk slowly, as though in a dream, through the quieter corners of this world. Imagine now that you stand upon a dirt road just outside a soldier's encampment. The road is dusty and pale, worn smooth by thousands of footsteps and the wooden wheels of supply wagons. Along its edges, wild grass grows tall, brushing against your legs as you step aside to let a rider pass. His horse moves at a slow, weary pace, hooves thudding softly against the earth. The soldier tips his cap politely, his face tired but calm, before continuing down the road. Ahead of you lies the camp. Tents stretch out in neat rows, their canvas sides glowing faintly in the low light of evening. Smoke curls lazily from cook fires, drifting upward into the purple sky. You hear the murmur of men talking, their voices low and steady, blending together into a kind of gentle hum. Somewhere nearby, a kettle whistles faintly, steam hissing from its spout as water boils for coffee. The air smells of wood smoke and iron, of earth freshly turned beneath marching feet. But mingled with these scents are others, softer and more familiar. The faint sweetness of cornbread baking in a pan, the tang of salted pork sizzling in grease, the sharp bite of coffee grounds steeping in tin cups. For many of these soldiers, meals are simple and repetitive, but in the quiet of camp, even small flavors bring comfort. You step further into the camp, moving slowly, almost as though you are floating. The ground beneath you is uneven, dotted with footprints, wagon ruts, and scattered straw. A few chickens wander between the tents, pecking at scraps. In the distance, a mule brays, answered by another across the field. And still, above all these sounds, you hear the crackling of fires, small, steady, and reassuring. At the edge of the camp stands a wooden fence, roughly built from uneven planks. Beyond it lies farmland, stretching into the distance. Rows of corn and wheat grow tall, swaying gently in the evening breeze. The fields seem endless, golden in the fading light. These same fields, so peaceful now, have seen armies move across, them leaving behind scars of trampled earth and broken fences. Yet tonight, in the calm of twilight, they rest again, as though nature itself has paused to breathe. A soldier passes you carrying a bucket of water. His boots scuff the earth, and you hear the faint slosh of water inside. His sleeves are rolled up, revealing arms thin from long marches and meagre meals, yet his movements are steady. He nods to a comrade as he passes, Their exchange wordless but full of quiet understanding. Life in camp is built upon these small routines: carrying water, tending fires, repairing uniforms, writing letters. If you listen closely, you can hear the scratching of pens upon paper. Inside a tent, a young man bends over a sheet of paper, his brow furrowed in concentration. He dips his pen into ink, then carefully writes a few more words, pausing often as though searching for the right ones. He is writing to his mother, telling her he is well, though his boots are worn and his stomach often empty. He spares her the harsher truths, choosing instead to describe the stars overhead, the songs sung by his comrades, and the way the campfire warms him at night. His letter is both a comfort to him and a bridge to home. The music of camp is soft and varied. A fiddle begins to play, its notes drifting gently through the air. It is a simple tune, one the men know well, and soon a few voices rise in quiet song. Their harmonies are not polished, but they carry warmth, echoing across the field and mingling with the night air. This music is not grand or formal. It is the music of survival, of lifting spirits in hard times. Above the camp, the sky deepens into indigo. Stars begin to emerge one by one, glittering in the heavens. The men notice them too, pointing out constellations they remember from childhood, or joking about how those same stars must be shining over their homes far away. There is something grounding in the sky's constancy, something reassuring in knowing that even amidst war the heavens remain unchanged. Now, imagine yourself moving slowly beyond the camp, toward the edge of the nearby woods. The trees stand tall and silent, their leaves whispering softly in the breeze. Fireflies begin to appear, their glow pulsing faintly in the shadows. You hear the faint trickle of water nearby, and soon you come upon a small stream. Its surface reflects the moonlight, rippling gently as it flows. A soldier kneels here, rinsing his hands and splashing cool water on his face. He lingers for a moment, as though savouring the simple gift of freshness, before filling his canteen and returning to camp. This is the quieter side of war, the waiting, the resting, the breathing in of simple moments. For every roar of cannon fire, there are countless nights like this, where soldiers simply lived, slept, and dreamed. And it is in these nights that we will linger, allowing their rhythm to carry us gently into sleep. As you leave the camp behind, your steps carry you down another dirt road, this one leading toward a small town that has grown quiet with the evening. The air is cooler now, touched with the faint scent of honeysuckle drifting from vines that wind lazily over wooden fences. Crickets sing in the tall grass, their rhythm steady, as though the night itself were playing a lullaby. The first buildings you see are simple, log cabins with smoke rising from their chimneys, barns with wide doors left open to the cooling air, and fences lined with split rails, their wood weathered from sun and rain. Chickens cluck softly as they settle in for the night, and the lowing of a cow drifts across a nearby pasture. Life here is humble, shaped by the land and the changing seasons. You walk further into the heart of the town, where the buildings become closer together. Wooden storefronts line a narrow main street, their signs swinging gently in the breeze. A general store, a blacksmith shop, a post office, all places that hold the rhythm of daily life. Tonight their doors are closed, lanterns extinguished, and windows darkened. Yet even in stillness, the town seems alive. You can almost hear the faint echoes of voices that filled these spaces during the day. The sharp ring of the blacksmith's hammer striking iron, the laughter of children running across the street, the shuffle of boots upon wooden porches. On one corner stands a small church, its steeple pointing upward toward the darkening sky. The bell is silent now, but in the morning it will ring again, calling townsfolk to gather. Many such churches across the land became places not only of worship but also of refuge, their pews filled with prayers for loved ones far away at war. For some, these prayers were whispered in hope. For others, they were spoken with trembling voices, heavy with fear. Tonight, though, the church rests quietly, a soft shadow against the horizon. Past the church, you come to the train depot, a simple wooden building set alongside steel rails that stretch into the distance. The tracks gleam faintly in the moonlight, running straight as an arrow across fields and forests. By day, the depot is a place of movement and noise. Soldiers boarding trains bound for distant fronts, families waving farewell, supplies being loaded into freight cars. By night, however, it is silent. The platform is empty, save for a lantern left burning low by the door. The silence here feels heavy, yet also peaceful, as though the rails themselves are sleeping, waiting for dawn to bring motion once more. You pause for a moment listening. In the distance, the faint whistle of a train drifts across the countryside, long and mournful. The sound carries slowly through the night, fading into stillness once more. It is a sound both comforting and haunting, a reminder of the world's vastness and of how far men have travelled from the warmth of their homes. Leaving the depot, you follow the road as it winds away from town, past open fields that stretch wide beneath the stars. The crops here, rows of corn, beans, and wheat, stand tall and steady, their leaves whispering softly in the night wind. The soil is dark and fertile, nurtured by generations of farming. In many places, families left behind these very fields to join the fighting, entrusting wives, children, and neighbours to care for the land in their absence. For some, harvests became a form of survival. For others, they were reminders of hands missing from the plough. The further you walk, the quieter it becomes. The road narrows into a path, leading you gently toward the edge of a forest. The trees rise tall and ancient, their trunks dark against the pale wash of moonlight. Beneath them, the forest floor is carpeted with fallen leaves and moss, soft beneath your steps. Owls hoot from hidden branches, their calls echoing gently through the trees. Fireflies flicker here too, weaving threads of light among the shadows. Through the trees, you glimpse a farmhouse, its windows glowing faintly with lamplight. Inside, a family sits gathered around a wooden table. A mother rocks an infant in her arms, while two older children lean close to their father, who reads softly from a worn book. His voice is calm and steady, a rhythm that carries through the stillness. Though their meal has been simple, cornbread, beans, and a pitcher of water, the warmth of their togetherness lingers in the air. These quiet evenings, filled with reading, song, and prayer, form the heartbeat of rural life. From here, the land rises gently, leading you to a hill that overlooks the valley below. You climb slowly, the grass brushing softly against your legs, until you reach the crest. From this height, you can see both the distant campfires of soldiers and the quiet glow of towns scattered across the landscape. Their lights flicker like stars fallen to earth, each one marking a pocket of human life in a vast, unsettled land. You stand here for a moment, letting your gaze wander across the horizon. The sky above is wide and clear, a canvas of deep blue sprinkled with countless stars. The Milky Way stretches across it like a river of light, eternal and unchanging. Beneath this sky, armies march, battles rage, and families wait. And yet, the heavens remain steady, reminding all who look upward that beyond the struggles of today lies a greater, enduring calm. As the night deepens, you begin your descent back toward the camp. Your steps are slow, your breathing even, your mind settled by the sights and sounds of this world. The Civil War is often remembered in flashes of cannon fire and smoke, but here, in these quiet corners, in the rustle of crops, in the glow of farmhouse windows, in the hum of crickets, life continues. And it is within these moments of stillness that history breathes most gently. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sounds and smells wash over you. The faint scent of river mud, the coolness of dew settling on grass, the distant hum of insects. This is not the noise of war, but the timeless murmur of the land itself, a sound that has carried through countless generations. When you open your eyes again, the world feels gentler, as though inviting you deeper. The dock seems to lead not only across the water, but across time. And so, with slow steps, you follow it, first as yourself, the quiet traveler, and then as someone else. The night folds around you, and when it lifts again, you are no longer only an observer, but part of the story. You carry the worn uniform of a young soldier, your boots dusty, your satchel heavy with a few precious belongings. A canteen clinks softly at your side, half filled with water. In your breast pocket rests the letter you finished earlier, sealed and ready to be sent home. Your name could be Daniel or Joseph or Thomas, one of many. You are young, though the lines of worry on your face make you seem older. You walk back along the camp's edge, your gaze steady on the road that disappears into the trees. Tomorrow will bring marching, perhaps conflict, perhaps silence, but tonight, only the rhythm of the river and the murmur of campfires surround you. As you return to your tent, the lanterns flicker low, and voices fade into whispers. You lie upon your blanket, the earth cool beneath you, the canvas roof sagging slightly above. The scent of smoke lingers in the fabric, mixed with the faint sweetness of grass. Outside, a guard's footsteps mark time in the night, steady and patient. Your eyes drift upward to a gap in the canvas, where the stars glimmer faintly through. They seem close enough to touch, each one ancient, each one carrying its own silent story. In this moment, you feel both small and infinite, a single life among many, yet tied to the vastness of the sky above. Slowly, gently, the camp settles into sleep, and you too rest, knowing that tomorrow may carry hardship, but tonight carries only the calm of a river, the hum of crickets, and the quiet company of men who, like you, dream of home. The dawn comes quietly. At first, the sky is only pale, brushed with the faintest grey-blue light. A mist rises from the river, curling low across the grass, and the camp stirs like something alive. You hear the soft coughs of waking men, the shuffle of boots against soil, and the muted clatter of tin cups as breakfast is prepared. The fires, long smouldering, are coaxed back into flames. A thin line of smoke drifts upward, pale against the early sky. A bugle sounds in the distance, not sharp or jarring, but steady, a reminder that the day has begun. Its notes echo across the camp, carrying over tents and wagons, pulling the men from slumber into motion. One by one, the canvas flaps are lifted, and soldiers step out into the cool morning air, rubbing their eyes, stretching their weary bodies, pulling coats tighter against the lingering chill. You sit at the edge of your blanket, watching the light strengthen. The earth beneath you is damp with dew, cool against your palms. Somewhere nearby, a pot rattles as coffee is poured into battered tin cups. The scent drifts across the camp. Dark, bitter, yet comforting, a taste of home even here among the soldiers. Men gather around the fire, sipping slowly, their conversations low and measured. Some speak of the march ahead, others of the weather, of rumors, of names passed quietly along the line. Many say little at all, their thoughts held inward, their gazes lost in the flames or the soft horizon. The horses stir next, stamping their hooves against the earth, eager for movement. Wagons creak as they are readied, wheels inspected, harnesses checked, canvas covers tightened. A mule brays, sharp against the morning quiet, and one of the teamsters laughs gently, patting its flank with a calloused hand. When breakfast is finished, the men begin to pack. Blankets are rolled, straps tightened, rifles slung across shoulders. The rhythm of it is practiced, almost ritual, for this is the life of a soldier, to wake, to march, to rest, to repeat. There is little hurry, only the slow, deliberate pace of men who have done this many times before. You rise with them, adjusting the strap of your satchel, feeling the familiar pull of its weight. Your canteen knocks softly against your side, filled fresh this morning with river water. You tuck your letter more securely into your pocket, close to your chest, and then join the line forming at the edge of camp. The march begins with a low roll of drums, a steady beat to set the pace. The column moves as one, hundreds of boots striking the earth in unison. The sound is not thunderous but measured, like the heartbeat of the land itself. Dust rises with each step, soft clouds that catch the morning light and hang briefly before drifting away. You walk with the men, your boots sinking slightly into the damp soil of the road. On either side, the countryside stretches wide. Fields of tall grass wave gently in the breeze, their tips brushed with gold from the rising sun. A farmhouse appears in the distance, its roof sagging, its windows shuttered. A dog barks once, then falls silent, watching the long line of soldiers pass by. The air carries the scent of earth, of horses, of wood smoke fading behind you. Birds call from the hedgerows, their songs bright and unaware of the war around them. Each sound layers upon the next, weaving a tapestry of calm that softens the weight of the march. Ahead, the wagons roll steadily, their wheels groaning against the ruts of the road. The canvas tops ripple in the wind, shadows moving inside as crates shift and clatter with each turn. The drivers sit tall on the benches, reins in hand, speaking in low tones to the animals that pull them. The creak of wood, the jingle of harness buckles, the snort of horses, all blend into a rhythm, a lullaby of motion. You glance to the man walking beside you. His uniform is worn at the knees, his shoes patched with scraps of leather. He carries his rifle with ease, though his shoulders sag with fatigue. He notices your look and smiles faintly, the corners of his mouth lifting just enough to remind you that even here there is companionship. He does not speak, but the silence between you is comfortable, carried on the steady beat of footsteps. The road curves gently, leading you through a grove of trees. The canopy above filters the light into shifting patterns, dappling the ground with gold and shadow. The air here is cooler, fragrant with pine and damp leaves. The column moves quietly beneath the branches, the sound of the march softened by the forest floor. At the far edge of the grove, the land opens once more. A wide plain stretches out, dotted with wildflowers, their colours soft in the morning sun. The wind brushes across the grass, bending it like waves, carrying the faint buzz of insects and the distant call of a hawk. You breathe deeply, filling your lungs with the scent of open fields, feeling the expanse of the world around you. The march continues, unhurried, unbroken. Hours pass, though the rhythm makes time blur. Sometimes the men sing softly, low, simple tunes that carry only a few lines but repeat like mantras. A verse about home, a refrain about a sweetheart, a melody from childhood. The songs weave through the column, lifting and fading, never loud, always gentle, like the murmurs of a dream. At midday, the column halts near a stream. The men lower their packs with relief, sitting on stones, leaning against trees. Some scoop water into their hands, splashing it over their faces, drinking deeply from their canteens. Others stretch out in the grass, eyes closed, savouring the brief rest. You kneel by the stream, dipping your hand into the cool current. The water rushes over your fingers, smooth and clear, carrying pebbles that glint in the light. The sound of the stream mingles with the low hum of men resting, the creak of wagons settling into place. The air feels fresher here, shaded by willows leaning gracefully toward the water. For a while, the world is still. No orders, no movement, only the quiet comfort of earth and sky, and the knowledge of shared rest. When the call comes to rise again, it is not abrupt but steady, a reminder more than a command. The men gather their things once more, shouldering their burdens with practiced ease. Slowly the column reforms and the march continues, boots striking the earth, wagons rolling forward, the rhythm steady as a heartbeat. And as you walk once more, the road stretching endlessly ahead, you realize that the march itself has become a kind of dream, step after step, sound after sound, a lullaby of motion carrying you through the landscape, further into the quiet heart of history. The long day begins to fade. The sun, once high and bright, now sinks low in the western sky, brushing the horizon with strokes of gold and crimson. The air cools as the shadows lengthen, and the column, weary from its steady march, finds a place to settle for the night. The order comes quietly, more a ripple through the line than a sharp command. Men begin to halt, stepping off the road into the grassy clearing that has been chosen for camp. Boots scuff against the soil as packs are dropped with sighs of relief, and shoulders unburden themselves of the day's weight. A hush settles over the company, not silence exactly, but a soft unwinding. The easing of tension that comes when movement ceases and rest begins. The wagons roll in slowly, creaking to a halt at the edge of the field. Horses are unhitched, their bridles loosened, and the animals are led to drink from a nearby stream. The smell of leather and sweat mingles with the cool fragrance of evening grass. Overhead, the first stars begin to appear, faint but steady, pinpricks of silver in the deepening sky. Fires are lit, small at first, then growing brighter as kindling catches and flames dance upward. The crackle of burning wood fills the air, sharp yet comforting. The glow spreads across the camp, warm and flickering, casting long shadows against tents and trees. Around these fires, men gather, lowering themselves onto blankets or logs, their voices carrying softly into the night. You join them, easing down near the circle of flame. The heat against your face is pleasant, chasing away the cool dampness of the grass. Someone stirs a pot of stew, the aroma of onions and salt pork rising, mingling with the smoke. It is simple food, but to tired bodies it is enough. The sound of spoons clinking against tin bowls soon follows, steady and familiar, each bite taken in grateful silence. As the meal ends, conversation begins. The men speak in low tones, voices softened by fatigue and the intimacy of firelight. Stories drift across the camp, some of home, of farms and families left behind, others of small moments from the march, small jokes, gentle laughter that never grows too loud. The words carry like ripples on still water, fading slowly into the night air. You listen more than you speak. your gaze drawn upward to the sky now alive with stars. The constellations stretch wide above, ancient and unchanging, their shapes familiar even to weary eyes. Orion's belt gleams faintly, the North Star steady as always, a guide that has watched over countless travelers. The sight fills you with a quiet sense of connection. These same stars once watched by other soldiers, other wanderers, other souls searching for rest. Nearby, one man hums a tune, low and almost wordless. Others join softly, their voices blending into a quiet chorus. It is not a song of victory or of war, but of longing, of memory, of the steady passage of time. The music drifts through the camp, rising with the smoke, carried upward into the night until it seems to mingle with the stars themselves. The fire burns lower, its flames now glowing embers, deep red and orange, pulsing like a heartbeat. Men stretch out on the ground, pulling blankets over their shoulders, finding comfort in the earth beneath them. Some speak final words before, drifting into silence. Others close their eyes without sound, surrendering quickly to the pull of sleep. You remain awake a little longer, feeling the gentle rhythm of the camp around you. The distant sound of a night watchman's footsteps blends with the soft snort of horses, the occasional creak of leather, the faint rush of the nearby stream. All of it together becomes a lullaby, each sound steady and reassuring, a reminder that even here, in the uncertainty of war, there is peace in the quiet moments. Your eyes close, then open again, catching the shimmer of starlight above. You feel the coolness of night against your skin, the warmth of the fire fading but still present, the weight of the day slipping slowly away. The voices have fallen silent now, save for the faint murmur of one soldier whispering a prayer. His words are not loud enough to hear, but the tone is steady, soothing, an offering to the silence of the night. And in this moment, with the world hushed and the sky vast above you, you feel as though time itself has slowed. The war, the march, the burdens, all fade into the background, leaving only the stillness of evening, the softness of firelight, and the gentle embrace of night. The hours after supper unfold slowly, like ripples moving outward across a calm pond. The camp grows still, the murmur of voices fading one by one, until only the faintest sounds remain. The last sparks of laughter have softened into silence, and the glow of the campfires shrinks to low circles of amber light. Beyond them, the night stretches wide, a vast tapestry of shadow and starlight. You feel the weight of the day pressing upon your shoulders, urging you toward rest. Around you, men shift under their blankets, their breathing evening out, becoming slow, steady, and deep. Here and there, a sigh escapes, or a whispered word drifts like smoke, but soon even these vanish into the night air. Yet not all can sleep. A handful of soldiers rise, moving quietly, their rifles carried with care. They take their places as the midnight watch, their duty to guard the camp while others dream. The soft crunch of boots on grass marks their path, measured and unhurried, each step blending into the rhythm of the night. You watch one pass by, his silhouette framed by the faint glow of the embers. His face is calm, but his eyes scan the horizon, steady and alert. The world beyond the camp feels endless in its silence. Trees stand like dark sentinels at the edge of the clearing, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. From the stream comes the hushed trickle of water over stone, a sound as ancient as time itself. Crickets sing their endless chorus, joined now and then by the low hoot of an owl. Each sound is soft, soothing, yet layered in such a way that they weave a lullaby for the entire camp. Lying back, you let your gaze drift upward. The sky is alive with stars now, each one sharp and clear in the cool night air. The moon hangs pale and steady, casting a faint silver glow across the field. Its light touches the tents, the resting men, the wagons at the edge of camp, softening their forms until they seem half real, half dream. In this moment, the world feels suspended, as though held in a quiet breath. The watchmen move again, their figures passing in the distance, dark against the moonlit grass. You hear the faint click of a bayonet, the shifting of straps, the clearing of a throat. Yet none of these sounds disturb the peace. Instead, they become part of the night's gentle rhythm, steadying, grounding, reminding you that all is safe, that all is watched. Your thoughts drift, slow and meandering, as though carried on a current. Images of the day, the march, the heat, the dust, fade into softer impressions. The weight of the knapsack, once sharp, feels now like a distant memory. The ache in your feet lessens, blending into the earth beneath you, until even discomfort becomes a kind of comfort, a reminder of effort completed, of rest earned. At the far edge of the camp, one of the guards hums to himself, almost unconsciously. The tune is faint, little more than a murmur carried by the breeze, yet it reaches your ears like a secret lullaby. It is simple, perhaps a folk melody remembered from childhood, but in the stillness of the night, it feels timeless. The notes rise and fall, mingling with the whisper of the wind, until they seem not sung at all, but rather part of the air itself. You close your eyes for a moment, and the sounds grow sharper in your imagination. The flow of the stream becomes a gentle chorus. The crickets a steady percussion, the hum of the guard a soft refrain. Together they form a harmony, natural and unhurried, guiding you gently toward rest. Time loses its sharpness in this state. Minutes stretch, then vanish. The night feels both endless and fleeting, each moment sliding softly into the next. The stars above seem to shift, not quickly, but with the slow inevitability of the earth's turning. The moon climbs higher, its light growing cooler, spreading across the land like a thin blanket of silver. The watchmen trade places, one stepping quietly from his post while another takes it up. Their voices are hushed just above a whisper, careful not to disturb the sleepers. You catch fragments, all clear, nothing stirring, before they fade back into silence. There is comfort in these words, though brief. Comfort in knowing that the night is calm, that the world, for now, holds no threat. Your own breath slows, matching the rhythm around you. Inhale, long and gentle. Exhale, even longer, the air leaving your lungs like a soft sigh. Each cycle carries away the remnants of wakefulness, leaving only peace behind. The ground beneath you, firm yet yielding, feels steady, almost protective. The blanket across your shoulders warms you against the cool night air. Somewhere beyond the trees, a night bird takes flight, its wings cutting softly through the air. For a moment you hear its call, distant yet clear, then silence again. The sound lingers in your thoughts like a fading echo, until it too becomes part of the dreamlike drift. As the hours pass, you feel yourself slipping gently between states, half awake, half dreaming. Images of home rise unbidden, a porch light in the dark, the smell of bread baking, the laughter of familiar voices. They come and go, blending seamlessly with the sounds of the camp, until you cannot tell where memory ends and dream begins. And still, the night stretches on, calm and endless. The soldiers sleep, their bodies heavy with rest. The watchmen pace slowly, guardians of silence. The fire glows faintly, its embers like stars upon the earth. And above, the true stars shine brighter than ever, eternal, watchful, serene. In this moment, wrapped in the quiet embrace of night, you feel yourself surrender. The day has ended, the burdens are set down, the world itself seems to whisper. Rest, be still, drift into peace. The stars fade one by one, retreating into the endless sky until only the brightest remain. The moon, too, begins to sink, its silver glow giving way to the warmer hues of dawn. One of the soldiers stirs nearby, shifting under his blanket, then another, stretching stiff limbs, blinking against the dim light. They do not rise yet, but their movement marks the slow waking of the camp. A cough here, a sigh there, a murmured word drifting across the field. The camp is not yet alive, but it is no longer fully asleep. For now, though, you remain still. You watch as the colours deepen, the horizon painted in strokes of peach, amber, and pale gold. The mist curls higher, then begins to dissolve as the air warms. The trees stand tall and silent, their leaves edged with the first touches of light. Birds grow bolder in their song, their voices rising, joining one another until the air is filled with gentle music. There is peace in this moment, a rare and fragile peace. For though the life of a soldier is often marked by hardship, uncertainty, and fear, there are mornings like this, mornings where time itself seems to pause, where the simple act of watching the sunrise becomes a gift. In this stillness, the world feels whole, as though it is offering a quiet blessing before the day begins. The watchmen exchange brief nods, their duty nearly done. Soon, others will take their place, the routine of camp life resuming once more. Fires will be stoked again, smoke rising into the morning air. Tin cups will clatter as coffee is poured. Orders will be given, knapsacks shouldered, and the long march taken up. But for now, all of that remains in the distance. You take a slow breath, filling your lungs with the crisp morning air. It is cool and damp, carrying the scent of earth, of grass, of wood smoke faintly lingering from the embers. With each inhale, you feel more anchored, more present, as though the world is gently guiding you to awareness. And with each exhale, you release the remnants of the night, the heaviness of dreams, the weight of silence. The horizon glows brighter still, and then at last the sun begins to rise. It peaks above the earth as a thin sliver of gold, then grows, spilling light across the land. The mist dissolves quickly now, the shapes of tents and trees sharpening once more. The camp takes on colour, the canvas a pale cream, the grass a glistening green, the uniforms of soldiers tinted faintly blue and grey. It is as though the entire world exhales, awakening from its slumber. The first warmth of sunlight touches your face, and with it comes a quiet reassurance. Another day has begun, another chapter in this long journey. The hardships have not vanished, nor the uncertainty of what lies ahead. But in this moment, there is a fragile strength drawn from the light itself. The soldiers stir more fully now, rubbing sleep from their eyes, pulling themselves upright. The watchmen finally lower their rifles, their duty completed, their eyes softening in the glow of morning. And you remain here, balanced between the memory of night and the reality of day. The The stillness of the dark lingers in your body, a residue of peace that the morning cannot take away. The sunrise feels less like an ending and more like a gentle transition, a reminder that even in the hardest of times, there are moments of calm, moments of beauty, moments to simply breathe. The camp will soon wake in earnest. Voices will rise, orders will be given, fires rekindled. Yet you carry with you the stillness of the night, the serenity of the stars, and the soft promise of dawn. These remain within you like embers glowing quietly, waiting to be remembered when needed. For now, you linger in this in-between space, letting the warmth of the rising sun wash over you, letting the rhythm of breath and the memory of silence hold you steady. You are both here and beyond, both soldier and dreamer, both present and timeless. And so as the day begins, you carry within you the peace of night, the gentle hush of the midnight watch, and the golden promise of dawn. Gently, the sound small and comforting, like the heartbeat of morning. You sit quietly, letting the stirrings of camp life drift around you without urgency. Soldiers shuffle about, adjusting belts. Tightening camp slowly awakens in the tender hush of dawn. Smoke curls from rekindled fires, soft and blue against the pale sky. A kettle rattles cayutes, exchanging murmured words still heavy with sleep. Yet there is no rush here, only the slow rhythm of men preparing themselves for another long day. A gentle breeze passes through, tugging lightly at the canvas tents, carrying with it the mingled scents of damp earth, wood smoke, and the faint bitterness of coffee. You breathe it in deeply, and with the breath comes a grounding sense of being present, alive in this moment, yet safely distanced, an observer drifting between history and dream. As you sit, you notice the ways in which camp life forms its own kind of ritual. One soldier sits with his tin cup, cupping it in both hands, blowing gently on the steam before sipping slowly. Another, younger and still bleary, rubs his eyes and ties back his hair with clumsy fingers. Two men laugh softly over a shared story, the sound subdued, restrained, but genuine. These small gestures, quiet, human, ordinary, are the anchors of life in uncertain times. The fire pops gently, sending up tiny sparks, glowing for a moment before fading into the daylight. You let your eyes rest on that movement, sparks rising and vanishing, like stars retreating into the sky at dawn. There is a rhythm to it, a balance between light and darkness, appearance and disappearance, much like the rhythms of war itself, where moments of tension are always followed by moments of stillness. You find your thoughts wandering now, carried along by the slow cadence of the camp. They drift into reflection, into gentle memory. Did you know, for instance, that many soldiers in the Civil War kept small journals? Their words were often simple, even spare, written by the dim light of campfires or by the early rays of morning. Yet these fragments reveal not only battles and marches but also the quiet details. The taste of hardtack softened in coffee, the sound of frogs by the riverside, the way the stars looked when sleep would not come. These men, long gone, left behind pieces of themselves that still echo softly in the pages of history. You can almost imagine one of them now, sitting not far from you, dipping pen to paper, jotting down a line or two while the camp stirs awake. His words might be plain, but they would capture the weight of this moment. The quiet before the march, the warmth of the fire, the companionship of fellow soldiers. Perhaps in years long after, those words would find their way to another reader, offering a glimpse into a life once lived, a dawn once witnessed. The thought lingers with you as you rise slowly and step away from the heart of camp. The ground is soft beneath your boots, damp with dew. Your footsteps are quiet, blending with the gentle sounds of morning, the low murmur of voices, the creak of leather straps, the faint ring of metal. The world feels calm, wrapped in a fragile stillness that asks to be preserved. You pass the line of tents, their fabric pale in the morning light. A soldier hums faintly as he folds a blanket, the tune low and almost forgotten. Another crouches by a fire, coaxing it to life with careful patience. There is no hurry in these movements. They are measured, steady, shaped by necessity, but softened by routine. At the edge of the camp, the trees open toward a wide field, silvered with mist. You pause here, letting your gaze drift across the expanse. The horizon is washed in gold now, the sun climbing higher, painting the grass with delicate light. A hawk circles above, silent but sure, its wings outstretched as it rides the early currents of air. The scene feels timeless, untouched by conflict, as though this patch of earth exists only for quiet reflection. And so, you begin to walk, not with destination, but with presence. Your steps are slow, unhurried, each one grounding you further in this dreamlike passage through history. The world expands gently around you, every detail softened by morning's embrace. The rustle of leaves, the trill of a bird, the faint hum of insects rising with the sun, all these weave together into a tapestry of calm. With each breath, you sink deeper into this rhythm, deeper into the flow of time itself. It is no longer just the Civil War camp you walk through, but the broader current of human history, where countless mornings have dawned, countless lives have stirred awake. The past and present blur here, blending like mist into sunlight, until you are both observer and participant, dreamer and dreamed. The camp recedes behind you, its sounds growing softer, muffled by distance. Ahead lies the promise of new landscapes, perhaps a quiet riverside, perhaps the silent halls of a temple, perhaps only the open sky. Whatever comes, you carry with you the stillness of morning, the memory of soldiers at rest, and the soft awareness that history, even when filled with struggle, also holds moments of peace. And as you walk, you feel the transition beginning. The camp fades, not abruptly, but as though gently dissolving into mist. What lies ahead will unfold slowly, like a dream deepening, guiding you further into reflection, further into rest. The path carries you gradually away from the camp, and soon you find yourself descending toward the hush of a riverbank. The sun has long since risen, yet in this sheltered place beneath the trees, a softness lingers. The water glides slowly past, wide and steady, catching the light in ripples that shimmer like brushed silver. You pause, listening. The sound of the river is low and steady, like a breath drawn and released without end. The soldiers often sought rivers, for water was life, drinking, cooking, washing, and sometimes for escape from the oppressive heat of long marches. Entire regiments would pitch their camps near these bends, the tents lining the banks like pale shells upon the shore. Yet in this moment, the river belongs not to war, but to quiet. You watch it drift by, calm and untroubled, its steady rhythm offering a lullaby to weary minds. A small wooden pier stretches out into the water, worn and weathered, boards creaking softly underfoot. You walk upon it, each step measured and light, until you stand at its end, the river opening wide before you. From here, the world feels hushed, as though all noise has been swallowed by the water's embrace. You lean against the railing, letting your gaze soften, following the current as it bends around the far bank. In the Civil War, soldiers often wrote of rivers as places of rest. Some recorded the joy of bathing in cool water after weeks of dust and sweat. Others described nights by the shore, when the moon cast its silver light upon the ripples, and the men sat quietly, listening to the lapping waves while smoking pipes or murmuring in low voices. For many, these moments were among the few times when the enormity of conflict receded, and they could simply be. As you stand upon the pier, you can almost sense their presence, not in a haunting way, but in a gentle echo, as though the memory of their laughter and whispers is carried faintly by the current. You picture them sitting along the bank, trousers rolled up, toes dipping into the water, eyes heavy, yet softened by the flow of the river. These men, young and old, found solace here, just as you do now. The air along the riverside feels different, cooler, touched with dampness. You inhale, and the scent of water plants and wet earth fills your lungs, grounding you further. A dragonfly hovers close, its wings catching the light in quick flashes of blue and green. You follow its flight, your mind drifting with it, light, unhurried, almost dreamlike. You notice the way the sky changes above the water. Even in daylight, clouds drift across, reflected below as if the river holds a second sky within it. At times, the two blend, the clouds above and the mirrored clouds below, until you feel as though you are floating between them, carried gently through a world without boundaries. Here, by the river, you feel the passage of time differently. Each ripple seems to mark a moment, sliding past, gone forever, yet replaced by another, then another. It reminds you of how soldiers marked their own days, not by clocks or calendars, but by the rising and falling of the sun, the filling and emptying of canteens, the steady march from one encampment to the next. Time was fluid, much like this river, sometimes rushing, sometimes meandering, always moving forward. You lower yourself now to sit at the very edge of the pier, boots dangling just above the water. The wood beneath you is warm from the morning sun, its surface rough but solid. You let your hands rest beside you, palms open, body relaxed. For a long moment you simply listen. The gentle lap of waves against the wood, the distant call of a bird, the rustle of reeds along the shore. Your thoughts soften further, wandering not with effort but with ease. You imagine yourself here in another age, perhaps as one of those weary soldiers, grateful for this pause, this moment of stillness beside the flowing water. You picture dipping your hands into the river, feeling its cool touch slide across your skin, the sensation washing away fatigue, dust, and worry. A memory comes to you, an entry from a soldier's letter, written along the banks of a Virginia river. He described the night as the most peaceful since I left home, the moon bright above, the water glimmering like a path of silver leading back to his family. He wrote of how he and his comrades sat in silence, each man lost in thought, the river carrying them into a quiet beyond words. That letter, fragile and yellowed, still survives today, holding within it the stillness of a night long past. As evening edges closer in your imagined journey, you remain by the riverside. The light softens, turning golden, and the air cools further. The river reflects the change, its surface glowing with amber hues, rippling gently as though stirred by the hand of twilight itself. Fireflies begin to blink along the shore, their faint glimmers rising like tiny stars in the deepening dusk. You watch them flicker, rising and falling, here one moment, gone the next. The sight is mesmerizing, hypnotic in its simplicity. Just as sparks rise from a campfire, these lights dance above the water, reminders that even in darkness, there are points of brightness. The soldiers, too, would have watched these same fireflies. For many, the natural world offered comfort: the river, the insects, the stars. These small constants reminded them that life endured beyond war, that the earth continued to turn, that the quiet beauty of the world could still be found, even in times of hardship. The river murmurs beside you, steady and sure as the night fully takes hold. The stars now shine above, mirrored in the water, creating a sky both above and below. You feel as though you are seated between two heavens, cradled by stillness, your mind light, your body at ease. Time stretches here, unmeasured, unhurried. You could sit forever, listening to the water's song, watching the stars drift upon its surface. The river carries away all weight, all worry, leaving only calm in its flow. And slowly, gently, you rise, turning from the water's edge. The path calls you onward, leading not into noise, but into deeper silence. The riverside fades behind you, its memory carried within, as you begin to walk once more into the soft folds of history and dream. The path carries you away from the gentle murmur of the river, and soon you find yourself stepping into a wide open space. The ground beneath your feet is soft with grass, stretching outward toward a horizon touched now by night. Above, the sky unfolds in vast silence, deepening into hues of indigo and blue-black. A canvas ready to be scattered with stars. The air is cool, touched with the faint scent of wild grass and wood smoke from distant camps. As you breathe in, you feel the stillness of evening settle around you, the world holding its breath as the first stars emerge, faint but certain. One by one, they appear, tiny sparks against the darkening dome, until the sky begins to shimmer with countless points of light. You pause to take it in, the quiet grandeur of the night. The soldiers of the Civil War once looked upon these same skies. After long marches and battles, they would lie back on the hard ground, eyes turned upward, letting the stars pull their thoughts away from hardship and into something vast, eternal, and beyond the reach of gunfire or command. Letters written during those years often mention the comfort of the heavens, Orion's belt, the North Star, the Milky Way stretching like a river of light. These were the same constellations their families far away might also be watching, reminders of home in the great distance. You lift your gaze higher, and the stars seem endless, scattered in gentle patterns that have endured since time immemorial. The longer you look, the more they reveal themselves. Not merely bright points, but clusters and veils, shapes woven into stories. A gentle breeze moves across the field, carrying with it the faint rustle of grass, like whispers too soft to make out. For soldiers on the march, night skies were both a map and a comfort. The North Star guided direction, steady and unfailing, its fixed place in the heavens a reminder of certainty in uncertain times. Others gazed at the moon, its silver glow lighting paths through woods and across rivers, its calm face unchanging even as battles raged below. In diaries, some wrote of how lying beneath the stars was the only time they could imagine themselves back home, as though the heavens themselves bridged the distance between camp and family. You lower yourself to the ground now, lying back upon the grass, the earth solid beneath you, the heavens vast above. Your body feels heavy in a comfortable way, sinking into the ground, while your thoughts grow light, as though drawn upward into the stars themselves. The night sky seems to expand endlessly, and you drift with it, as though each star is a lantern, guiding you gently into rest. Above, the Milky Way spills across the darkness, a soft band of pale light stretching from horizon to horizon. It looks almost like a river flowing through the heavens, mirroring the waters you left behind on earth. You imagine soldiers lying just as you do now, eyes softened, gazes steady, allowing the light of distant suns to soothe the ache of long marches and the weight of uncertainty. For them, as for you, the stars were companions in solitude, quiet voices saying, "You are not alone." You notice how the stars flicker, steady, yet alive as though breathing with you. In and out, in and out. Their gentle pulse aligns with your own breath. The vast sky overhead feels timeless, beyond war, beyond memory. Civilizations have risen and fallen beneath these same lights, yet they endure, eternal, unchanged. For the weary, that endurance offered comfort, a reminder that hardship, no matter how great, was but a moment in the sweep of time. Some soldiers spoke of watching meteors streak across the sky, brief sparks that faded quickly, like the flash of musket fire, yet without sound, without fear. For them, the falling stars were omens, mysteries, or simply moments of wonder in lives filled with routine and danger. You too watch the heavens, and though no meteors pass tonight, the stars themselves feel alive, each one a reminder of calm continuity. A hush settles more deeply now. The world feels almost suspended, caught between earth and sky, as though you are resting in a cradle of silence. You listen, and there is little to hear beyond the faint whisper of wind. Even the memory of soldiers seems hushed here, their voices softened, their stories wrapped in starlight. You allow your thoughts to drift toward the constellations. There is Orion, the hunter, his belt of 3 stars shining clear and sharp. To the north, the Big Dipper arches high, its handle curving gracefully. Soldiers once used that very shape to find the North Star, to orient themselves in the vast dark. To the south, faint but steady, lies Sagittarius, its bow drawn across the heavens. Each constellation is a story, a reminder that people across centuries have looked upward and made meaning of these same lights. The longer you gaze, the softer you feel inside. The stars no longer feel far away. They seem close, woven into the very air above you. It is as though the sky has lowered itself, wrapping around you like a blanket of silver light. The field, the river, the memories of war, all fade into stillness, leaving only this quiet communion between earth and sky. The soldiers of the Civil War carried these skies with them, from Virginia to Tennessee, from Gettysburg to Vicksburg. No matter where they marched, the stars followed, unchanged, and so they offered a kind of constancy, a reminder that beyond the hardship of the moment, something vast and eternal watched over them. That same constancy cradles you now, guiding you deeper into calm. Your breath slows, the stars shimmer. The field beneath you holds your body, while your thoughts drift like clouds across the night. You feel safe here, timeless, suspended in a gentle stillness that asks nothing of you but rest. As you remain lying in the grass, the stars blur softly, not from their fading, but from your own deepening calm. The constellations dissolve into a tapestry of light, and you let go of the need to trace their shapes. Instead, you simply surrender, floating in the quiet glow of the night sky. The field around you grows softer, fading into dream. The stars remain, bright and eternal, guiding you onward, not into battles, not into marches, but into rest, into peace, into the timeless silence of sleep. The stars above remain steady, but slowly the night deepens, and with it comes an even greater stillness. The field you lie upon seems to exhale, the grasses swaying less, the breeze gentling, as though the earth itself has grown drowsy. You feel the same quiet invitation, a soft reminder that even history has its silences, its pauses, its moments of rest. The Civil War, in all its noise and turmoil, is far behind now. The echoes of muskets and cannon fire that once shook these lands have faded into the soil, carried away by years and memory. What lingers is not the sound of violence, but the hush that follows it, the stillness of abandoned camps, the quiet settling over battlefields, the silence that comes when men, weary and wounded, finally put down their arms and return home. You feel that silence all around you now. It is not an emptiness, but a fullness, like a deep breath after exhaustion, or the long pause between heartbeats. The past speaks most clearly in these silences. It whispers not in thunder, but in hush, reminding you that even the most tumultuous times are eventually gathered into quiet. Imagine those fields after the armies moved on. Grass returned to grow where trenches had been dug. Trees sprouted anew where fires once burned. Rivers carried on their endless courses, as if reminding the world that nature endures, that healing is possible. The men who once lay awake, staring at these same stars, eventually found their way back to farms, to families, to lives beyond the uniform. Their laughter returned to porches, their hands to ploughs, their voices to children eager to hear stories. The war ended, but the silence remained, a silence that held the weight of memory and the promise of peace. Here, lying beneath the heavens, you are part of that silence. You are resting in the long exhale of history, safe within the stillness that follows struggle. The earth beneath you is steady, unchanged, carrying centuries of footsteps, of battles, of victories and defeats. Yet tonight, it carries you only toward rest. You notice how the silence has a texture to it, as though the air itself is soft, wrapping around you like a blanket. The faint rustle of grass, the occasional distant call of a night bird only deepen the stillness, reminding you of how rare and precious these quiet moments are. Soldiers once cherished them too, the gentle pauses between battles, the hush of dawn before camp stirred, the quiet of night watch when the world felt suspended. In those moments, they felt most human, most alive, most at peace. And so do you now. Each breath you take is unhurried, each thought slower, softer, more distant. You begin to sense that the boundaries of time are dissolving. The past feels close yet not heavy. It is no longer about the hardship nor the struggle, but about the peace that followed. The silence is its own kind of victory, its own kind of healing. Your body feels heavy upon the ground, but in the most comforting way, like a stone nestled in the earth, perfectly at rest, perfectly in place. You let yourself sink into that sensation, deeper with each exhale, as though the soil itself is holding you, carrying you with care. There is no effort now, no march to continue, no burden to bear, only the gift of stillness. The silence grows, yet you notice it is not empty. It is filled with subtle presence, the memory of voices carried away on the wind, the faint echo of drums long stilled, the murmur of rivers flowing as they always have, all of it woven into the hush that now surrounds you. History has grown quiet, and in that quiet, you find peace. As you lie there, you realize the past is not lost. It lingers softly, like starlight from distant suns, still reaching you long after the fire has faded. Each star you see above is a memory of light, traveling across time to meet your gaze. So too does history shine upon you, not with noise or clamor, but with gentle radiance, guiding you toward reflection, toward calm. the silence deepens further still. Your thoughts drift, slower and slower, like leaves carried upon a stream. You no longer need to follow them. They carry themselves while you simply rest. Your body grows heavier, yet your mind lighter, floating somewhere between the earth below and the stars above. In this quiet, you sense that the story is complete. The soldiers who once marched here have long since laid down their arms. The cities they left behind have been rebuilt. The families they cherished found their way forward. Time has moved on, and in its passing, it has left behind a gentle hush, a silence that speaks of survival, of healing, of the peace that follows storms. You breathe it in now, this silence of the past. It is cool, steady, eternal. Each inhale draws in calm, each exhale lets go of weight. The longer you rest in it, the softer everything becomes. The field, the stars, the memory of history, they all blur together, dissolving into one quiet presence that asks nothing of you but to rest. And so you do. With eyes heavy, with breath slow, with body at ease, you allow yourself to drift. The silence holds you, carries you, guides you towards sleep. History has spoken, and now it fades, leaving you only with peace. The stars above remain eternal, the earth below remains steady, and you, cradled between them, are safe, calm, and free to rest. The war has ended, though echoes of it remain, soft as whispers carried on the evening wind. The land, once torn by marching boots and the thunder of cannon, now lies still, cloaked in the gentle hush of twilight. Where fields had been scorched, grass has begun to grow again, weaving a quiet cover over the scars of battle. Wooden fences, long broken down by the movement of soldiers, have been rebuilt by steady, patient hands. Life, fragile and persistent, has found its way back into the corners once abandoned to sorrow. Close your eyes and imagine walking through one of those fields at dusk. The air is cooler now, carrying with it the faint sweetness of clover and wildflowers that have taken root among the furrows left by heavy wagons. Fireflies glow in slow, meandering patterns, as though stitching light across the fabric of the evening. The rhythm of crickets hums low and steady, a lullaby that has played for centuries, long before men thought to fight upon this soil. The world exhales and you breathe with it in unison, as if the earth itself is finally at rest. There was a time when this very ground trembled with urgency. Officers shouting orders, drums beating their calls, men clutching rifles with trembling hands. And yet now, there is no command to follow, no fear of a bugle breaking the night. Only the silence remains, a silence so deep it feels sacred, as though the land itself insists on remembering. But memory, like sleep, is soft and hazy. The sharp edges of pain begin to blur. The cries of war are carried further and further away, leaving behind only the faintest traces, like footprints slowly dissolving under falling snow. You pause at the edge of a small wooden bridge, its beams creaking softly as you lean against it. Beneath, the water flows gently, clear and unhurried, carrying leaves downstream as if time itself has loosened its grip. It is easy to think of the men who once stopped here, young soldiers, weary and uncertain, pausing to wash their hands or to let the cool water soothe their faces. Perhaps they laughed for a moment, or shared a scrap of bread, or thought of home before the march resumed. Now, the bridge knows only peace, the water carrying no burden but its own quiet song. The legacy of such a moment is not carved into monuments alone, nor written only in history books. It lingers in the hush of places like this, where the ordinary world resumes its rhythm covering over the chaos with patience and calm. To walk through this scene is to realize that even the most turbulent storms yield to stillness. Just as sleep follows the wakefulness of the day, peace follows even the longest of wars. As you stand there listening, you may feel the presence of those who came before, not as ghosts to trouble the night, but as gentle echoes folded into the air itself. Their footsteps are not frightening, but soft and familiar, like the memory of a lullaby sung long ago. The land remembers them with tenderness and invites you to do the same. With each breath, you drift deeper into reflection. The Civil War was more than battles and losses. It was also countless quiet moments, like this one, where men gazed at the same stars you now see overhead, wondering about tomorrow, wondering if peace would ever return. And though time has passed, though the soldiers have long since laid down their burdens, you can feel that longing answered in the stillness tonight. Peace has come, not in a sudden shout, but in the soft, steady rhythm of life continuing. The world sleeps, and you sleep with it. The war belongs to the past, its memory softened by the passage of time. You breathe in the silence, and you breathe out release, allowing the present moment to cradle you gently. The river moves gently beneath the soft veil of evening. Its surface shimmers faintly, touched by the moonlight, and each ripple seems to carry a memory downstream. Standing at its edge, you can almost hear the echoes of long-ago voices. Soldiers who once gathered here to wash away the dust of marching, to refill their canteens, or to simply sit in silence, staring at the endless current. Imagine yourself lowering to the bank, the earth cool beneath your palms. The reeds sway softly in the night breeze, their slender stalks whispering together, like old friends sharing secrets. Frogs call to one another from across the water, their voices rising and falling in a steady rhythm, blending with the gentle trickle of the stream. The air is rich with the scent of damp soil and river grass, grounding you in a place that feels timeless, as though it has always been waiting for your presence. During the war, rivers such as this were lifelines. They quenched thirst, carried supplies, and guided armies through unfamiliar terrain. Soldiers often camped along the water's edge, grateful for its constant flow, even when everything else felt uncertain. Here, under the stars, men might have unwrapped letters from home, holding the pages close to catch the fading light. Some read words of encouragement, others messages filled with longing or news of sorrow. All the while the river moved steadily onward, unconcerned with victories or defeats, its course unchanged by the struggles of men. You can almost see them now, shadows from the past sitting along the shore, their faces softened by the glow of firelight. One hums a tune from home, low and steady, while another writes carefully on a scrap of paper, pausing now and then to dip his pen. A third leans back on his elbows, staring at the stars above, perhaps wondering if his family is gazing at the same sky. Their presence is gentle, not haunting, as if they too have found peace in the endless rhythm of the water. The river itself is a storyteller. It has carried the weight of history, washing clean the dust of conflict and carrying it far downstream until only memory remains. As you listen, you may sense that it whispers of resilience, the quiet kind, born not of glory but of endurance. The men who once gathered here were ordinary souls, asked to endure extraordinary times. Some would never see their homes again. Others returned, carrying invisible burdens in their hearts. Yet in this place, by the riverside, they were simply human, thirsty, weary, longing for a moment of rest. Close your eyes and let the rhythm of the current guide your breath. Inhale slowly, as if drawing in the cool freshness of the water. Exhale gently, letting go of any heaviness you carry. Just as the river releases each leaf and branch to the current, so too can you release your thoughts, allowing them to drift downstream into the quiet distance. There is comfort in knowing that rivers endure. Long after the battle's ended, long after the last soldier walked away, the river has continued its song. It remembers, but it does not cling. It carries the past gently, folding it into the flow of time, transforming sorrow into calm. You too are carried along with it now, your mind loosening its grip, your body softening into the embrace of stillness. The soldiers once traced these same banks, their boots leaving temporary impressions in the mud. Those footprints have long since vanished, washed away by rain and softened by the growth of grass. Yet the essence of their presence lingers, as quiet as the mist that rises in the early morning. They were here, and now you are here, sharing the same earth, the same river, the same sky. Time connects you, not through struggle, but through the universal need for rest, reflection, and peace. As you sit by the riverside, you notice the sky growing deeper, the stars shimmering more brightly overhead. The Milky Way arcs across the darkness, a silver path leading into the unknown. Perhaps the soldiers, too, gazed at this same celestial river, drawing comfort from its steady light. In the vastness of the universe, their burdens must have felt smaller, softened by the reminder that even the greatest trials are only a brief passage in time's endless flow. The river, the stars, the earth, they all remain long after men have come and gone. And so the story of this place is not one of endings, but of continuity. Life carries on, the land heals, the water flows, the stars burn quietly above. As you listen, as you breathe, you too become part of that gentle rhythm, your body relaxing, your mind releasing, your heart settling into stillness. The riverside cradles you like a lullaby, its soft sounds weaving into your thoughts, carrying you further into rest. The war is far away now, only a faint memory in the vastness of night. What remains is peace, flowing endlessly, surrounding you in calm. The night deepens, and with it the sky opens wider, drawing your gaze upward. Above you stretches a vast canopy of stars, countless points of light shimmering against the dark velvet expanse. Some glow faintly, like tiny embers, while others shine bright and steady, as if they have been lit to guide weary souls across the ages. Looking up, you feel as though you are gazing into eternity, into something far older than wars or the men who fought them. For the Civil War soldier, the stars were more than a quiet comfort. They were a map, a steady presence when everything else seemed uncertain. By campfires or during lonely watches on the picket line, soldiers often tilted their heads back, letting the constellations anchor them. The North Star, bright and unmoving, was a compass in the dark. Orion's belt, the familiar trio of lights, stretched across the sky, just as it does tonight. These patterns became reminders of permanence in a world where so much felt fragile. Imagine yourself lying back on a soft patch of grass, your hands folded gently against your chest. The earth beneath you is cool and steady, supporting your body as you sink deeper into rest. The sounds of the river are now distant, softened, replaced by the silence of the night sky. A breeze moves through, carrying the faint scent of pine and smoke. But even that seems to fade as your awareness rises toward the stars. The memory of battles drifts into your thoughts, not in noise or violence, but as echoes carried gently through time. Soldiers once looked up at this very sky after long, grueling marches. Some did so with relief, finding a moment's peace after surviving another day. Others did so with longing, wondering whether they would ever again see their homes, their families, their familiar fields. In the stillness of the night, their hopes and fears became small whispers beneath the immensity of the stars. There is something soothing in realizing that these stars are unchanged. The same sky that you see now shone upon soldiers more than a century ago. The same constellations guided them, comforted them, and gave them pause in moments of exhaustion. Though their lives were marked by struggle, the stars were untouched, offering a reminder that beyond the turmoil of human conflict lies an infinite calm. The night deepens, and with it the sky opens wider, drawing your gaze upward. Above you stretches a vast canopy of stars, countless points of light shimmering against the dark velvet expanse. Some glow faintly, like tiny embers, while others shine bright and steady, as if they have been lit to guide weary souls across the ages. Looking up, you feel as though you are gazing into eternity, into something far older than wars or the men who fought them. For the Civil War soldier, the stars were more than a quiet comfort. They were a map, a steady presence when everything else seemed uncertain. By campfires or during lonely watches on the picket line, soldiers often tilted their heads back, letting the constellations anchor them. The North Star, bright and unmoving, was a compass in the dark. Orion's belt, the familiar trio of lights, stretched across the sky just as it does tonight. These patterns became reminders of permanence in a world where so much felt fragile. Imagine yourself lying back on a soft patch of grass, your hands folded gently against your chest. The earth beneath you is cool and steady, supporting your body as you sink deeper into rest. The sounds of the river are now distant, softened, replaced by the silence of the night sky. A breeze moves through, carrying the faint scent of pine and smoke. But even that seems to fade as your awareness rises toward the stars. The memory of battles drifts into your thoughts, not in noise or violence, but as echoes carried gently through time. Soldiers once looked up at this very sky after long, grueling marches. Some did so with relief, finding a moment's peace after surviving another day. Others did so with longing, wondering whether they would ever again see their homes, their families, their familiar fields. In the stillness of the night, their hopes and fears became small whispers beneath the immensity of the stars. There is something soothing in realizing that these stars are unchanged. The same sky that you see now shone upon soldiers more than a century ago. The same constellations guided them, comforted them, and gave them pause in moments of exhaustion. Though their lives were marked by struggle, the stars were untouched, offering a reminder that beyond the turmoil of human conflict lies an infinite calm. Picture the glow of a soldier's campfire beneath this sky. Its flames flicker softly, casting a warm halo that dances against the dark. Around it, men rest, their bodies weary, their conversations low. Some whisper prayers, others close their eyes, but all of them, in one way or another, feel the quiet presence of the heavens above. Even in their fatigue, they cannot help but glance upward, tracing familiar shapes across the night. In that moment, they are reminded of home, of nights spent lying in open fields or watching the sky from a farmhouse porch. The stars become a bridge across time, carrying those private memories into the present. And as you lie here now, breathing slowly, gazing into the endless sky, you too are held by that same bridge. The hardships of the past begin to soften, not erased, but eased by perspective. The battles, though fierce, are distant now, their clamour silenced. What endures is the human spirit, the simple act of pausing to look upward, to seek comfort in the constancy of light. Each star above carries with it a sense of continuity. Just as soldiers once found strength in their glow, you may also draw peace from their presence. Breathe in, slowly, as though inhaling the cool silver of starlight. Hold it gently, then let it go, exhaling into the calm of the night. With each breath, your body grows heavier, more at ease, as though the very gravity that binds you to the earth is also guiding you toward deeper rest. The memory of battles may linger in history, but the stars teach us that time softens all things. Wounds heal, fields regrow, and silence replaces the cries of conflict. Even the fiercest storms of humanity pass beneath this sky, while above, the constellations remain unchanged, patient, eternal. And so you are reminded, just as the soldiers endured, so too do you. Your own worries and struggles, no matter how heavy, are but small ripples in the vast river of time. Now, let your eyes grow heavy as you continue to gaze upward. The stars begin to blur slightly, their edges softening as drowsiness takes hold. Their light is steady, unhurried, content to shine for as long as you need. In their glow you are safe. In their glow, the past and the present melt together into a quiet calm. The eternal sky holds you, just as it once held them. And as your body relaxes, sinking deeper into stillness, you become part of this great continuum, another soul finding comfort beneath the same eternal stars. The night has grown deeper now, and the campfires that once glowed are slowly dimming. What remains is silence, the kind of silence that is not empty, but full, as though the air itself remembers all that has passed through it. You stand still for a moment, feeling that quiet stretch around you like a soft blanket, and it draws you into reflection. Though the Civil War once thundered across fields and forests, bringing with it the sound of drums, the clash of muskets and the cries of men, now the land lies in repose. The silence of the past is powerful. It is the sound of absence, of voices gone, of footsteps no longer pressing into the soil, but it is also the sound of peace regained. Imagine yourself walking through one of those fields today, the grass grown tall and green. The air is calm, the breeze moves gently, and the earth, once torn and bloodied, now holds only the hush of stillness. As you walk through this quiet, the past comes to you not as a sharp image, but as a soft echo. You may imagine the outlines of soldiers resting against trees, or the shape of tents gathered at the edge of a meadow. Yet as quickly as they appear, they fade, like mist dissolving in the morning sun. What endures instead is the silence, a silence that allows your own heart to slow, your breath to deepen, your body to soften. It is easy to forget how loud the war once was, how constant the sounds of marching feet, of wagons creaking down roads, of distant cannon fire rumbling like thunder. Yet here, in this reflection, those sounds are softened into memory. They are no longer urgent, no longer dangerous. They are threads woven into a larger fabric of history, one that holds not only struggle, but resilience, not only pain, but recovery. You pause, feeling the weight of that resilience. The Civil War was not only about battles, it was about endurance. It was about ordinary men, some farmers, some laborers, some students, carrying their burdens day after day. It was about families waiting at home, listening for letters, hoping for safe returns. It was about a nation torn and then slowly, painfully mending itself. When you reflect on this, it becomes clear that silence is not emptiness. It is a testament. It reminds us that all storms, no matter how fierce, eventually pass into stillness. Close your eyes for a moment and let that silence surround you. Feel it press gently against your skin, as though the past is not asking to be relived, but to be acknowledged. Within it, you may hear faint fragments, a drumbeat carried faintly by the wind, or the distant hum of voices long gone. Yet these are not haunting. They are tender reminders that life was lived here, that courage was shown here, and that now peace rests here. The stars overhead remain your companions. They shine quietly, their light unwavering, their presence eternal. Beneath them, the world sleeps. The rivers flow without hurry, the fields breathe in stillness, and the echoes of history rest in their place. As you take another slow breath, you feel yourself joining in that rest. The silence of the past becomes your silence. The peace of the land becomes your peace. This reflection is not about sorrow, but about continuity. The soldiers who once gazed at these same stars, who once marched across these same roads, are gone now. Yet their memory lingers not in noise, but in the quiet moments, the pauses between words, the hush that follows a prayer, the stillness after a song fades. That is where their legacy rests. That is where you find them, not as shadows of war, but as whispers of humanity. You feel your body relax further, as though the very ground beneath you has accepted you into its stillness. Your shoulders grow lighter, your breath steadier. In this silence, there is nothing left to carry. The struggles of the past are finished, their burden lifted. All that remains is calm. Let yourself rest in that calm. Allow the silence of the past to guide you into your own stillness. The world around you quiets further, until even your thoughts begin to slow, their edges softening, drifting like leaves upon a river. There is no need to hold on to them. Just as the soldiers laid down their burdens, you too may lay down yours. Though these streets and fields are silent now, they once carried laughter and life under the same starlit sky. And even in silence, that life endures, not as sound, but as presence. You are part of that presence now, breathing slowly, resting deeply, embraced by the silence of the past. And as you sink into this reflection, you realize the silence is not an ending, but a beginning. It is the doorway to rest, the threshold of dreams, the promise that even after the hardest struggles, peace will come. The journey is complete now. The footsteps of history have quieted. The voices of the past have softened into whispers, and the world around you is at peace. The story has been told, and the silence has returned. All that remains is rest. Let your body begin to settle, slowly, softly, like a weary traveler returning home after a long day. You have walked through fields, through riversides, through the shadows of the Civil War. You have seen the life of a soldier, felt his burdens, his moments of endurance, and his rare moments of peace. And now, as the echoes of that world fade, you are safe here, in the present, lying in comfort, ready to drift into dreams. Take a slow, deep breath, in and out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. With each breath, imagine that you are letting go of the noise of the day, the tension in your shoulders, the weight on your mind, the restless energy in your body. All of it dissolves with each exhale. Each breath is like a gentle wave, washing away the last traces of wakefulness, leaving you calm, leaving you free. The city fades into dreams now. The soldiers have laid down their arms. The camps are silent. The fields are quiet. The stars shine softly overhead, keeping watch, eternal and patient. You are safe here. You are at peace. Nothing more is required of you. Nothing more needs to be done. You may simply rest. Feel the heaviness in your eyes. They are growing heavier with each passing moment. You do not need to keep them open any longer. You do not need to focus on the images of history. Allow them to drift away, like smoke dissolving into the night air. Let your eyelids close gently, naturally, as the story becomes a dream. Your breathing is slow now, steady and calm. Each inhale brings you a sense of ease. Each exhale carries you deeper into rest. Your body grows warm, heavy, and soft against the surface beneath you. Your hands and feet feel loose, unburdened. Your thoughts grow quieter, like distant voices fading into silence. The journey has ended. You have walked far enough. You have listened long enough. Now there is nowhere left to go, nothing left to see. Only rest, only peace. Imagine yourself lying beneath a wide open sky. The stars are endless, glowing gently above you. The ground is soft beneath you, cool and comforting. Around you, the night air is still. It is as though the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to drift away into sleep. You feel safe here. You feel calm here. You feel at home here. The past has released you. The silence of the fields, the hush of the rivers, the fading glow of campfires, all of it has melted away. What remains is your own stillness, your own peace. You are ready now, ready to rest, ready to dream. Breathe deeply, in and out. Once more in and out. With each breath you sink deeper. Your body becomes heavier, your mind becomes lighter. The world grows softer around you, until it feels as though you are floating, carried gently on the current of your own breath. The journey is complete. The city fades into dreams. You are safe. You are at peace. You are resting. Let the words repeat like waves. You are safe. You are at peace. You are resting. Again, soft and slower. You are safe. You are at peace. You are resting. Let those words become the rhythm of your breath, guiding you gently downward, deeper into sleep. There is no rush. There is no effort. Only ease, only calm. The night is long and gentle, and it belongs to you. Your body knows how to rest. Your mind knows how to drift. Your breath knows how to guide you. Simply follow it, softly, easily, as you let go. The soldiers of the past are gone now. Their battles are over, their burdens laid down, and you too may lay down your burdens. You may release every worry, every thought, every weight you have carried today. Place it all gently on the ground beside you. You no longer need it. You no longer have to hold it. You may let it go. The stars above you shine on, steady and unchanging. Their light is soft, like a lullaby for the sky. You may imagine them watching over you, keeping you safe as you sleep. With each star, with each flicker of light, you feel calmer, you feel deeper, you feel more at rest. And as your thoughts drift further, the words become softer, slower, quieter, until they are only a whisper. The journey is complete. The city fades into dreams. You are safe. You are at peace. You are resting. Drift now. Drift slowly, gently, deeper and deeper, until the boundary between wakefulness and dreaming dissolves. You are floating now, carried by the silence of the night, by the rhythm of your own breath, by the gentle embrace of sleep itself. And if you remain awake a little longer, that is fine too. There is no need to force rest. It will come on its own, softly, naturally, like a tide rolling in, like a candle flame flickering into darkness. For now, simply breathe, simply listen, simply be. You are safe. You are at peace. You are resting. And as sleep takes you, may it be deep, may it be calm, may it be full of quiet dreams. The journey is complete. The story is told. The silence is here. You are safe. You are at peace. You are resting. If this journey brought you calm, if this history soothed you, you may return here any time. And if you wish, you may gently subscribe for more relaxing history sleep stories, more journeys into the past, more nights of calm. But for now, there is only this moment, this rest, this peace. Good night, sleep well. Sleep deeply, sleep peacefully. The journey is complete. The city fades into dreams. You are safe. You are at peace. You are resting. Fade into silence.